Hello everyone, as with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Let's see who's behind my losses. And you see, it's himself. I have so many people always say to me, I lost so much money in crypto. And then you ask them, how did you lose money in crypto? Well, it dropped down to this price, like XRP. It was at $3 and change. I bought at $2 and change. Now it's at $1 and change. So I took a lot of losses on the way down. But you don't lose unless you sell. As long as you stay invested, XRP is going way higher than $3 and change. Just wait until it goes into price discovery once again, and then goes on to 2 digits and later 3 digits. All you got to do is stay invested. Wow, XRP not allowed on the Sphere. Brad Garlinghouse said they're boycotting the Sphere. Take a listen.
Who here has gone to the Sphere?
Yo!
Okay, I'm calling for an XRP boycott of the Sphere. And I'm going to tell you why. We tried to do XRP on the Sphere. We thought that would be pretty cool. Yeah. They said they would do Bitcoin and ETH and not XRP.
Wow! So it makes you wonder who is in charge of the Sphere, because they were allowed to put Bitcoin and ETH on it, but not XRP. They really gotta hate this cryptocurrency at this point. XRP hasn't thrown in the towel yet. Network growth and shrinking supply. Everybody is talking about the shrinking supply. You know, this is the first time ever that anybody would have thought we would be talking about scarcity for this cryptocurrency. For years, from the very first day I ever bought my XRP, people always said 100 billion XRP is too many XRP. It's never going to hit $10. And if you're planning on selling, you should be thinking about maybe $8 or $9 for XRP. Now things have changed. Now everybody's talking about scarcity for this cryptocurrency. Day after day, articles coming out about it. Even the AI models are predicting scarcity for XRP at some point within 2026. So now it makes you wonder, whenever they talk about those very high prices for XRP and how they're not achievable until 2030 or 2035, now it looks like this might actually play out in 2026. And that's why everybody's keeping track of this right now. I'm just waiting for the over-the-counter desk and the dark pools to run out of XRP. When those ETF filers got to turn to the exchanges, everything changes like an overnight event. All of a sudden, we wake up one morning and XRP is sitting at 589. Or $100 plus. Important clarification for the XRP community. When you see the headline, Ripple signs partnership with Bank X, most people immediately think, great, XRP is being used. But that's often not the case. Reality check. Ripple is a company that sells enterprise payment technology, mainly RippleNet and related solutions. The vast majority of their bank partnerships use this technology, messaging, payment rails, treasury tools, but do not use XRP at all. XRP is only actively used when banks choose on-demand liquidity, ODL, or newer products that integrate the token on the XRP ledger. Ripple is moving very fast on the enterprise side, which is excellent. But actual XRP adoption is progressing more slowly. This is exactly why many long-term XRP holders sometimes feel frustrated. Ripple's success doesn't automatically equal XRP success. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. He's 100% right on this. But what are the banks facing? A liquidity crisis. It hasn't gone away. At some point, these banks are going to want that on-demand liquidity. They're going to want those Nostro Vostro accounts to get unlocked and that money to flow back into the banking system. Also, right now, they're very open to stable coins because that's all the talk right now. So RLUSD gets Ripple in the door. Then later, Ripple comes back to that same bank and says, well, your payments, they could be a little bit faster and a little bit cheaper if you utilize XRP instead of RLUSD. But even while the bank's utilizing RLUSD, it still benefits XRP anyway. This comes from Reese Merrick. Big move for Ripple. We're thrilled to announce the opening of our new Middle East and Africa region headquarters in the DIFC. Since setting up in Dubai in 2020, the region has grown into one of our most significant global markets. This new space allows us to double our regional team and accelerate support for our clients and partners. A huge thanks to the DIFC for the partnership. We're proud to be building the future of finance together. And this comes from Ripple as well. So this is another payment corridor that is opening up. And Ripple has been going very big in the UAE, Africa, and that entire region. And it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. This is most likely going to connect the last pieces of those rails throughout the Middle East. And I'll keep you up to date on what goes on there as well. Ripple Prime adds Bitcoin options trading for institutional clients via Bullish. Now, wait, I thought Ripple absolutely hated Bitcoin. Well, now Bitcoin is one of the options. Ripple Prime has expanded its partnership with Bullish, a digital asset platform listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Institutional clients now have direct access to Bitcoin options markets through the integration. You know, Bitcoin's future, I said it multiple times, it is going to become a tokenized asset at some point. I think it's going to be BlackRock that pushes for that to happen. But Bitcoin holders, they could transact right now across the XRP ledger very fast and very cheap. Instead, they want to go and put all their dependence on the Lightning Network. And we all know the Lightning Network sucks. Or they look for other options. They never want to utilize the best option out there, which is the XRP ledger. But in the future, they're not going to have any other choice to go in that direction. And Ripple, they don't hate Bitcoin. I think Brad Garlinghouse has mentioned multiple times that he holds Bitcoin. Same thing with Chris Larson. And they open up better options for Bitcoin holders as well. Ripple stablecoin launched one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, as experts call XRP the future global reserve currency. For as long as I've been an XRP holder, people always said that at some point XRP is going to become the global reserve currency. I just don't see that happening because I think these countries, they want a level playing field. They will all want their own currency. You see what China's doing with the yuan. They want to back it with gold. India will most likely also lean in that direction. Even the US, eventually we will have a gold-backed digital dollar at some point. But what the world really is going to need is a world's bridge currency. It's going to connect all these currencies to each other. So when the US wants to send the digital dollar to China, it will go in as the digital dollar into XRP and come out as the digital yuan. It's the same reason I always told you you don't want XRP to be backed by gold because it's going to be more valuable than gold. It's going to be moving gold-backed currencies. It's going to be moving tokenized gold from point A to point B and so on. But people are still under this assumption that XRP is going to become the global reserve currency. I believe it's going to become the world's bridge currency. Now, back when this clip originally dropped, I was probably all in on ADA back then. Hoskinson was so positive about Ripple back then compared to how much hate he has for it today. Take a listen to this.
So you can start thinking about the Internet of Identity and say, okay, if we start putting identities on blockchains, we can revolutionize KYC and AML. This also can revolutionize microfinance. So there's certainly a lot of people who say, boy, how do we who don't have bank accounts, boy, how do we more efficiently comply with regulation? Boy, how do we more efficiently move money around the world? They see these orders of magnitude improvement that Ripple, Bitcoin, and other ecosystems can bring, and they, of course, want to be the first in line.
And back then, Charles was all about Ripple, and he was all about unity, and he was all about positivity back then. Somewhere along the way, Charles lost his way, and he went in a totally different direction. And there for a while, we were starting to see signs of the old Charles, and I was starting to get bullish on ADA once again. But recently, he just absolutely hates Ripple. He hates Brad, and he wishes that Cardano was doing as good as Ripple, I guess, and ADA had the army behind it like we have with XRP. But I believe that clip was probably from somewhere around 2018, 2019. And I was bagging a lot of ADA back then because I liked the direction everything was going in. And it's not that ADA is a bad cryptocurrency. It's a great project. But now with this midnight and everything else that Charles is doing, I just don't see the future for ADA that I once saw, I guess. That's how I would put it. This time, it's not me saying it. Billions can come to Flare just with Uphold. With FIP 16, Flare token economics is fundamentally linked to ecosystem expansion. Take a listen to this.
Last year, as XRP has grown, as use of the XRPL has grown, as RLUSD has grown, Flare has been building, and we're super excited to turn on our Flare integration coming in just a few months. We have billions of dollars of XRP on the platform. That's your money. That's not our money. We cannot trust that to just anyone. So as Flare has evolved, as Flare has built in the new protocols, up their caps, up their limits, we're starting to turn on the faucets. Expect to see more there, and we also have an X space with Hugo to talk a little bit more about that later today. DeFi is evolving. It is not just about borrow and lending, which we support through the Exactly protocol. It is now creating new financial instruments that did not exist before. Firelight is an innovative protocol running on Flare that allows DeFi insurance. It's a way for a DeFi protocol to protect against some of the catastrophic loss. But it's not the old world where the insurance companies are the ones who are getting all the value. Participants in the network can help secure the protocols that they use. And that means yield on XRP.
Did you hear what he just said there? And that comes from Uphold. So he's saying that through Firelight, you could get DeFi insurance to make sure you don't get liquidated. A lot of people are really going to like the idea of that. And he's also saying billions can come to Flare just through Uphold. Remember, Flare wants to lock up 5% of the entire XRP supply. 5 billion tokens. And if Uphold is giving all of their users the ability to connect with Flare, they must see how solid Flare actually is. And that's why I said, while it's sitting under a penny, you got to get in on Flare. This is most likely going to become the next big thing after XRP. Flare is going to be a monster. It's adding utility to XRP as well. And once people start utilizing their DeFi options, I think Flare, the token, is going to start to really amp up in price. I think Flare has the ability to pull off a 2017, 2018 XRP-like run. But we got to see how it all plays out. And Cobb says, what's the most you have ever paid for a singular XRP token? And this made me think. And I looked back and I was like, I think I bought, the most I paid for one XRP was $2.60 some cents. And I wanted to buy it because I know where it's going. That's the problem with XRP. Once you start buying it, and I bought XRP at very cheap prices during the Rippleverse SEC lawsuit. But even at that price, $2.60 some cents, it doesn't really matter because we're going so much higher. And I know it because everything that we ever thought was going to happen for XRP, it's literally happening right now. All that adoption we knew was eventually going to come to XRP, it's happening right now. And if you see how big this actually is, this is global. XRP is going to pull value from all over the world. Different countries are going to be adding more and more value to XRP. It's not just going to be all about the United States. And that's why I don't care if you bought it at $3 and change. I don't care if you bought it at $2 and change, whatever price you bought XRP at, it doesn't matter because it's still going to go so much higher. All you got to do is stay invested and not sell it at a loss. When you sell, the institutions buy it right up. Whales buy it right up the second you sell your XRP. Why would you give it to them at cheap prices? And I'm telling you, even if you sell it now, you'll be chasing green candles later. Everybody always says when they sell their bag, I'm done with XRP. I'm never coming back. The second it breaks out, guess what? Those people are coming back. And until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.